Hey friends, Baron. It's Mavis Chat. So I thought I'd do a little bit different this time. Today, I'm going to start season 3, and we're just going to be sitting out here in the woods, chit-chatting about what I think is important. So today, what we're going to talk about with today's Morning Mountain Chat is, I'm going to call this series In Real Life. So the reason I'm calling it In Real Life is I've just been really thinking about it lately, and we're so disconnected because of social media. We're so disconnected because of all of our different activities that we do, and we kind of forget that real life is kind of there first. So, and hey, I'm guilty. I get caught up in the cyber world of social media. I even get caught up in my video games and just really get excited into playing Fortnite with my buddies in the evening. So it's really, really easy to just forget that there's this, and there's this fleshy machine that we use. So that's pretty much what this series is going to be about this season. Be interesting. So today we are going to specifically talk about getting your hands dirty and getting in there and doing something. So I think not enough people do it. I'm right now calling it farm therapy, but you could call it anything you want. It's just getting out there, getting your hands in the dirt, gardening, raising animals, raising crops, planting a tree. If maybe nature's not your thing, it could even just be working on your own car. It could just be doing something that a machine or that another person may be skilled to do, but just getting you to do it. Taking you from that is the best way to put it, taking the controller out of your hand and putting a tool into your hand. So it'd be a wrench, a hoe, a socket, something of that sort. So why is this important? I'm seeing this gap between everyone when we have conversations. We're having a lot of people talk about universal basic income. We're having a lot of people talk about free healthcare. We have a lot of people talk about free college. And why I understand where everyone is coming from, and they each have a very important role. I mean, I'd love to have affordable health insurance, but since I don't have it, I treat myself, and I've learned a whole lot by reading a lot, talking to experts, and learning how to make my own medicine. And I am absolutely thankful of that. But it also gives me I have to pay really close attention to things I consume, activities I choose to participate in, and just am reconnected to my body because of not having health insurance. It sounds really bizarre. Like, I'll give another example of that. So, I'm not on any public assistance either. So, that's important to put here. So, for the last 6 years, maybe, one of my wisdom tooth had smashed into another one and it had broke. And for about 5 years, I treated it with wax. I made a wax filling, brushed it really well, used a water pick, did a wonderful job. And then the last 6 months, it really started hurting. And then the last month, it hurt a whole lot. And so I did 6 years of treating it myself, 6 years of trying to manage everything about it, trying to not take any, I didn't take any pain medicine for it, no aspirin, no any drugs or anything of that sort. I just dealt with it until it got to the point where I needed an expert, someone that was even better skilled at removing it or managing the problem than I was. So I took my skill set, found out where my weakness was, and found someone else that was skilled. But that 5 years, I learned a whole lot because I had to do research about my teeth. I had to do a lot of research. So I learned a whole lot. And pretty awesome what I learned, and also got me the opportunity to really talk with the dentist when it got to that particular point about future management and things of that sort. And I think that because we're so busy, lazy, directed in a million different directions, sometimes we don't have the drive or the need to really hyper focus on something like our teeth. So another great example is I've gotten some debates about free healthcare free schooling, and I don't think college should be free. And that's going to upset a lot of people, and there's going to be people that think I'm absolutely insane by saying that. But I think college needs to be affordable. And I think that if you're passionate about something, you will find a way, even if it means going in debt, you'll find a way to achieve that awesomeness. And we'll have less of these pointless degrees that can't really find you jobs and maybe don't have a reason. I see very little use for gender studies. There is a group of people that could get in there and study the differences between the genders. But I think that that's going to be a handful of very strong, dedicated individuals that have this drive to push societal norms forward. I don't believe that your average 18 to 20-year-old can quite understand all of that just yet. And there might be a few, and that's awesome. But I'm not sure if a college education setting is the best because it's such a new field of pushing the envelope. I think with the access to social media and the access to medical journals and the access to psychological journals online, I think that something like a gender studies could simply be done outside of the education setting. And those people are going to get real life experience. They're going to be access to the journals. They're going to be the ones that can really push the envelope and make the change and on the grassroots level really see how to make the difference. Where in a college setting, trying to learn this from a book, books change so often. We have different knowledge. The books can't keep up, and the people even out in the world can't keep up. So it just doesn't seem like something you should be going to school for. It seems like something you need to be living and you need to be embedded into the communities and really just be doing in that direction. That's the same thing with I don't see the point of a business degree. I think that it might be cool to take some business classes. I think it might be important to attend some online classes, maybe some workshops, maybe talk to a few entrepreneurs. But in general, I think that you really can learn a lot of that just by doing or by talking with people or learning from people's experiences. But things like a doctor, yes, that you definitely need to be in school. You want to be a geologist? Yes, I think that a lot of your fundamental learning is the book learning first and then the field learning. I do think that there is definitely fields where universities and the college setting is important, but how many geologists do we really need? And how many lawyers, doctors do we really need? Not everyone is going to be a lawyer or a doctor. There's going to be a lot of people that are just going to be really awesome at working at McDonald's. Or maybe they're just going to be really awesome at fixing your car. And I'm not talking, and they might even just be really awesome at fixing your car without having to learn that mechanical trade. They might just be awesome tinkerers and they just learn tricks. Like I consider myself I'm pretty good with computers. I'm pretty awesome at computers. I like all aspects of them. I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm pretty good. And I took no formal training. Everything I learned was hands-on, tearing them apart, trying to program, stealing code, redirecting code, trying to learn the coding language from why something was working at this website and I wanted it to work on my website. So I went and found it working on one website, extracted the code, rewrote it a little bit. And that's from taking zero coding language. That's just from hands-on experience and wanting it and the drive to make it happen. I don't know if you guys can tell, but since I've been talking, it's definitely started raining a lot more because I'm sitting out here in the woods and I think it's just funny. I tried to pick this spot because there's quite a bit of trees above me, but I'm still getting a little wet. But it's rain. I love the rain. We need more rain. So those are the two fields. And then the third one is universal basic income. And I was an advocate for universal basic income. You might even see some other podcasts or you might even see some of my blog posts where I talk about being pro universal basic income. And at this particular point, I don't think it's a good idea. Now that I really understand the future of cryptocurrency, now that I understand passive incomes and ways that we can really achieve awesomeness by finding out what your skill is and marketing your skill in a way that you can generate a revenue stream, I don't think we need to get paid to do nothing or get paid to think inside of our head. I think there's ways that you can turn thinking inside your head into a way to generate some additional revenue. A great example, I started a digital asset consulting. So me and one of my friends, we focus on teaching people how to do digital consulting. How to, if you want to, what digital consulting is to those that don't know, is I focus on trying to teach you all about Bitcoins, Litecoins, and some of the other altcoins or cryptocurrency, depending on what form you want to use. And we show you how to invest, what to invest in, how to live through these ups and downs, because it's very volatile right now. And we've got a whole website set up in Slack, and it's just a really fun. I do a really small scale. If you're really interested, you can contact me, and I'll help you build a portfolio. I've had clients from as little as $500 invested to a couple clients that have way more than $500 invested. Way more than I was expecting someone to come in and invest at. But it's all the same, really. It doesn't matter if it's at $500 or $100,000. Your investing strategy is just tweaked a little bit, and there's a great example. That's just a skill that I've taught myself. I've had an interest in. I've loved cryptocurrencies. I love aspect of that, and I found ways that I can make some money and help other people make money as well. And it's a win-win. We both succeed. It's a pretty awesome thing. So if you're interested in this, you can hit me up on Twitter at xdrfirefly, or hit me up at Gmail at xdrfirefly, and we can chit chat. If you want to find my phone number, it's out there in cyberspace. It's pretty easy to find. You can hit me up like that too, and we can chit chat. I'd love to help you make some more money, or at least secure some of your current American dollars for the future, because things are about to get crazy. Anyways, enough all that. Let's go back to my main in real life subject. So, why I don't like universal basic income. I just think people want to work. They want to do something. Maybe work is the wrong term. I think it's called work, but I also don't call farming work. I don't call ditch digging, because I love digging ditches. Really, I do. I think it's really relaxing and fun. I don't consider that work. I don't consider making YouTube videos or audio podcasts work, but some people would consider it work. I did, when I worked in the factory, I did consider that work, but it wasn't too bad. I learned a lot. So sometimes work isn't necessarily a bad word. It's just something different. Work and play, it's okay if they're kind of combined, but it's okay if they're completely separate either. It's okay if you go work really hard all day just so you can go play the rest of the day. That's perfectly fine. Some people I know frown upon this whole concept of work and how the man's keeping you down. If the man is keeping you down and you are really not enjoying where you're working, then I would suggest either change your mindset and figure out ways to enjoy going to work every day, or really start looking for something else. Find a skill that you're better at and find ways to do something and generate some revenue like that. And this all sounds really easy, and I know it does sound easy, and it's a lot harder out in the real world, but it's also not as hard as it sounds. If you think about when you got your job, it took some effort to find that current job that you had and to be skilled to learn that particular job that you have. The same thing can be true with anything. If you want to play video games and make money playing video games, which I haven't figured out how to do that yet, and if you have, let me know. And if you want to be a taxi driver or an Uber driver, those are ways that you can generate revenue that are a little different than the norms. But that's also not knocking somebody that says, you know what, I don't mind working at McDonald's. It's easy money. I'm just working there a couple hours. It's very stable. That's okay too. But going back to the whole purpose of everything, it's when you get your hands dirty doing something, dirt, grease, plumbing, electrical, anything. There's so many things that you can get your hands dirty doing. There's just something rewarding and reconnecting and awesome about it. So I'm going to rag on some of my social justice warrior friends for a second. a lot of them, and I was one of them, absolutely one of them years ago. We've spent too much time in university. We've spent too much time in our heads thinking about how to make the world better. And man, there's some great ideas. And some of my SJW friends, man, we've got some great ideas on how to make the world better. But the reason I had to start really separating from that group and to not focus so much on the social justice is we can only improve our little community. But then sometimes we're seeing problems when there really isn't a problem. And I say this because I'm going to give an example. One of the examples is this explosion of transgender rights. They've always had rights. They were never slaves. They were never people of color. If maybe you want to go around with the whole gay lesbian group right there, but now that gays and lesbians can get married and do a lot of stuff, they fall equally right into those same rights. You can marry whatever person you want to marry. You can share your wealth, your family, adoption with anybody you want. It doesn't matter. We don't care what you're doing in bed anymore. So it's not as much of an issue as people think it is. And what really grabbed my attention is, and this is going to sound really weird, is how I got this realization is keeping chickens together and how some chickens don't get along with other chickens, even though they might have hatched from the same brood. So I've got a couple hens that I just can't keep the hens together because they will just absolutely tear each other apart. They will fight. And then I can put another hen in there and they're instantly best friends. And it's just, people are different. And I can't tailor towards every single hen. I just kind of have to pick and choose, and I have to find ways to make things work. And sometimes two grumpy hens just have to live together because that's the only thing that's going to work, because we don't have enough housing to supply for, every hen to have their own individual little enclosure. So sometimes they have to live together. And then a lot of times after they live together for a while, they establish their pecking order and they're good to go. They were just annoyed right at the beginning. And once someone just said no, they said, okay. And I think with some of the craziness that's happening with everybody thinking that there's this, that, the other, that there's all this racist everywhere, that there's all this crap everywhere, that no one likes this group of people, that no one likes this group of people. Somebody just needs to say, no, that's not true. We're just not agreeing because things are kind of too good. You want to be moved to a different cage because you don't want to try to deal with these people in this enclosure. And after the realization of that, living in society, as humans, as we live in society, we are just living in people farms. You can try to think that that's not true, but look at it. You're living in a people farm. You have your enclosure that you live in, your little box, and your little box has water, and your little box has a way to make food. And they're both little boxes. Your water comes out in a little box, and you drink out of that little box, and your food is in a little box, a little square, and you drink out of that little square, and you go do what you want to do. And if you're bad and you're not following by society's rules, they put you in another cage by yourself, or they put you in a cage with all the other bad people, so that if you fight and you do bad things, then you're doing all those bad things over there. And then here's where it gets interesting. Here's how you can prove that we live in a people farm. If you decide that you want to rewild yourself and you want to get off the grid and you want to kind of live outside of the norm, people think you're strange. Well, why would you want to live out there? There's bears out there. There's things that can eat you out there. You'll die. Your water is not going to be in a box. You're going to have to free range. And that to a lot of people sounds scary. But we're starting to free range animals like chickens and ducks and animals. But we still compartmentalize people. And I think and feel. I think this is a think and feel aspect. That part of the problems of today is our rebellion of living in this farm, this people farm, is that we know that we should be out there running in the trees. We know we should be eating the plants on the ground. We know that we should be on our free time be playing in the ocean and making it better and planting trees and improving the soil. We know this. But our consumer-based society is not letting us, or we don't think it's letting us. You know, we are our own worst prison wardens. We really restrict ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to do certain things. I'm guilty of this all the time. I'm trying really hard not to be. But it's hard. I could go on with tons of other examples and things of that sort, but I'm kind of interested what you guys' opinion is. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Either way, I'd like to hear what you got to say. Do you like this new format? Do you like seeing me? If you don't like seeing me, I'm going to also put this up on Stitcher. This will also be under the Morning Mountain Chat aspect of Stitcher. It'll just be Morning Mountain Chat Season 3 in real life. And it's just going to go that way. But I thought, I've had a lot of people say, you know what, I want to see what you look like. It's better to have a real person instead of just a voice rambling on. It's funny. I was a big selfie person back before I even knew what that word meant. And then as social media exploded, I less like to be in front of the camera and more like trying to be the voice of reason. As funny as me being the voice of reason is. So if you like here and you want to support my work, you can visit my website at themavisinstitute.xyz. And I've got a bunch of cryptocurrency things down there. You can donate in one of the cryptocurrencies. There's a PayPal link on there. You can visit our Facebook page at Mavis Pharmacy or Mavis Manor. Either one, I run them both, and you can see some stuff on there. Hopefully I get the nonprofit status finally gets through, so there'll be a donation spot on there, so you guys can help out that way. You can come out to the farm. I'm in Flat Top. You can see what we've got here. You can buy some animals, get some eggs, check out our bees, learn some stuff. If you're in Southern West Virginia and you want to come to some of my workshops or some of my talks, right now I'm just doing it at the Craft Memorial Library in Bluefield, but it's the Sustainable Garden Series. This month coming up, I'll be teaching about tomatoes. We're going to do a tomato tasting. I did a tomato cloning class earlier this year, so we're going to do tomato tasting, and I'm going to show you a cool little life hack on how to grow tomatoes real fast. So my phone just said battery is getting low. So that's probably my sign to say I should probably stop talking now. So again, if you on Stitcher, Morning Mountain Chat, if you're listening to Stitcher and you want to watch the video, it'll be on YouTube under Mavis Manor. And if you're hearing this anyplace else, those are the best two places. If you want to find me personally, Dr. Firefly, I try to corner the market in just about anything. And if you are a Fortnite player and you want to jump on and play with us, Dr. Firefly on Epic. And we play about every night and have weird chit-chats about really crazy things. Most of our adult conversations. If you want to see some of those, it's Center Zero, CENTRE 0 on YouTube. But most of the time it's just us. It's just a ranting and raving about the silly things or being shitlords, things of that sort. So, enough rambling on, enough pointing you in every direction to try to connect you with awesomeness. Anyways, friends, till next time.